Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Iridayan and this is my main project for Python programming. So I titled this project as a food calorie tracker, and for this presentation, I'll be explaining about the problem statement, the objectives, the materials and methods. And later on after my presentation, I will also show a bit of the flowchart and my programming, and lastly, I will show how the program works. So first off, for the problem statement. So the reason why I created this project is because of these few problem statements. So firstly, it seems that individuals usually find it hard to consistently track their daily calorie intake. And secondly, existing methods such as paper or notepad is very time consuming, and is also very prone to damage or getting lost. As we all know that paper is very easily damaged by water or dirt or any kind of food stains. And next, even for digital methods such as the notepad apps on our phone, can be a bit can be used to record, but it's also hard to provide a clear progress of what we have been eating for the past few days. And lastly, it lacks the weekly analysis, which can help users to understand their eating habits. Because usually when you are recording these type of things, you are just writing it down. There is no feedback, there is no visualization of what you have been eating for the past week. So this application that I've developed is used to overcome these problems. And moving on, in order to solve this problem, we have to solve the objective. So in order to achieve the objective, which is to create a mini project that create application that can help users with tracking calorie intake, we have to solve these four sub-objectives. So among them, the sub-objectives are providing a simple yet intuitive graphic user interface (GUI) for users to record their meals. So this is so that users can easily record their meals and easy for them to understand as well. And secondly, it's able to record meals according to the specific date and also meal type. So meaning that users can just choose a specific date and time, like meal time, which is like breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, snack time. And third, it allows users to view their weekly progress. So even if it's in the middle of the week, they can get feedback of how they have been eating. They get to know what their diet has been like for the past few days, and they can also view their progress from previous weeks. So users are able to identify whether they are eating better or are they eating too much or eating too little. And then for the last sub-objective, it needs to be able to store all the recorded data in a CSV file. So this is so that the data is stored somewhere safe and it can be accessible at any time. And using a CSV file also allows it to be very uh, expandable, because there is up to 1 million rows of data that can be collected from Microsoft Excel. Okay, and moving on, these are the materials and methodology used for this mini project. So the format of programming that is used is called an object-oriented programming, which is OOP, and is structured using a class method, which I named app.gui in my project. And also it has a modular design, meaning that every function, every feature has its own specific function in the program, so that it can be later on expanded or even edited easily, and it can be understood by others, not just myself. So it can be edited by others if needed. And the program used is Python version 3.14. This is the latest version as of today. And the uh, IDE that I've been using is PyCharm. PyCharm is a very simple and intuitive program that can be used, since it's quite user-friendly, it's beginner-friendly, it helps you to identify errors before you even run the program sometimes. And lastly, there are certain modules and libraries that are used. In this case, tkinter and ttk. These are the two main components when it comes to the GUI programming. tkinter is the basic library. ttk is to expand upon that and adds more uh, design features like changing the color of certain things. And we have message box to help with certain errors or pop-up messages. And we have TK calendar. This is also very crucial to this program as users need to select the date of the meals they have taken. So TK calendar is used to help users select the date. And date time is used to calculate certain features in the program. So this helps with the weekly tracking of the calorie. Alright, and moving on, I will now move to the flowchart and I'll also explain about my program at the same time. Now I'll explain about the flowchart in my program. So as you can see right here, this is the flowchart. So at the start of the program, there is a whole section just for the aesthetics and configuring the colors and fonts. And then next one will be the main menu. So the main menu follows this flowchart. There are 4 different buttons the user that can press. There's the add meals, weekly intake, clear file, and exit buttons. So same thing you can see in the Python programming. There's the add meals, weekly intake, clear file, and exit button. And when it comes to each individual function, there's its own set of features. So in the add meals, first you'll prompt the user to select the date, select the meal type, input the calorie, and then it will submit, which will save the data into a CSV file. So over here, the date will be using a calendar, which is where the TK calendar comes into place. So there'll be a drop down for a calendar over here that choose date. And for the meals, there will also be a drop down menu based on the data that has been put here. So there's breakfast, brunch, lunch, tea time, dinner, supper, and others or snacks. And then for the third entry, it will be a entry box where users can enter the amount of calorie that they had for that specific meal. And below that, there is a submit button, which will then save all the data to a CSV file, or they can choose to press back, which will lead them right back to the main menu over here. In the submit meal itself, there's a separate function. This is where all the variables are defined. So the first part over here is to ensure that users are inputting a proper value. So if users put values such as 0 or negative number, you will come up with a warning saying that calories must be in positive integer greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, you will have a pop-up message showing the date, day, meal, and calorie that they have recorded. And it will let them know that the meal has been submitted. And then once the meal has been submitted, this function over here will save the data into a CSV file according to this format. So it will be date, day, meal, and then calorie. This small section after that will clear the entry box to ensure that users will not accidentally submit a duplicate meal. If user does not input an integer, it will come up with the warning that says invalid value. Value must be an integer. So it will stop any user from putting in alphabets or letters. And lastly, if users did not input the full data, you will come up with a warning as well, saying that it is incomplete and will ask the users to fill in all the necessary information. And then in the next part of the flowchart, which is the weekly intake, first user will have to select a date. And then based on the date, the Python programming will calculate which week that is based on the ISO standard. So for example, last week, 23rd of March will be week 12. And based on that week 12, the Python program will access the CSV file and will calculate all the meals that was recorded for week 12 and then display the total calorie count. And you can see over here, it's a drop-down menu calendar as well for the users to select the date. There's a search button and a back button. When they click search, it will run this program over here. This is used to determine the start and end of the week. So for this case, Monday has been set as the first day, or Sunday has been set as the last day of the week. And from there on, you will read the calorie tracker CSV file. You'll read every fourth row. This is where the calorie count is. And then this one, I'll read the second row. This is for the days of the week. If, for example, there are no meals recorded for that specific week, a pop-up message will show saying that no meals were recorded for that week. If there were meals recorded, a different pop-up message will show up, showing the total intake for the week, followed by the week number and also the year. And the formatting will appear, telling the users the start of the week to the end of the week. And the next part is somewhat crucial, as this is the part where users will be able to identify if they have been maintaining a proper diet or not. So the recommended weekly calorie intake for an average male or female should be between 15,750 calories to 18,000 calories. So if it is below that value, the message will pop up saying that keep pushing, aim to increase your intake. And if it is maintained within the recommended value, it will congratulate the user and saying that they are maintaining a healthy intake. In the case where user said has no calorie recorded for that week, you will say no calorie recorded, start tracking now. Other than that, if the calorie intake is above 18,000, this is too much, so it will start to warn the user, saying that they should consider what they have been eating. In the case where there were no records at all, you'll say no record found, start tracking now. And then moving on, the third button over here, which is the clear file function. This is used to erase the whole CSV file if necessary. So users are able to click the button and there will be a confirmation box asking whether they are sure they want to delete the file. So if they confirm, then it will clear the CSV file, but the CSV file will maintain the 4 headers at the top, which is the date, day, meal, and calories. And they will also receive a confirmation message saying that the file has been cleared successfully. And then moving on to the last button in the main menu, which is the exit button. So this serves the same function as the pressing the X at the top right, but this is also a separate button for the users to click. This will have a confirmation as well to check with the users whether they want to close the program or not, just in case the user accidentally clicked the button. So after confirmation, it will just run a self-window destroy function, which will close the program. Alright. Other than these 4 buttons in the main menu, there's also a statement at the bottom of the main menu of the window, which is to show the weekly summary at a glance, so that user does not have to keep double checking every day. So this function is slightly different. You will first get today's date to determine which week that the user is in. Once it knows the day, it will calculate the first day of that week and the last day of that week, which is a Monday and a Sunday, and it will calculate the total for that week so far. So same thing, if there were no meals recorded, you will just show no records found, start tracking now. And after this, I will show a short presentation about how the application functions on its own. Okay, now I will be presenting about the functionality of the program. So let me run the pie chart. And as you can see, there is a window title, main menu title, 4 buttons in the main menu, weekly summary, as well as the current intake so far. So let me show you the functionality of each button. So for the first one, if I click Add Meals, it will clear the window and show up this Add Meals menu. So I can select the date. So let's say I want to select a meal or record a meal from last night's dinner. And let me choose dinner. Okay. And let's just say a user forgot to input the calorie and you just click submit. So now it will inform the user, please fill in all the information. And let's say they decide to put 0 instead. And if you click submit, you will show calories must be a positive integer greater than 0. Same goes to writing letters, value must be an integer. Okay, so let me input 12,200 calories. Then once I click submit, it will show me that it has been successfully submitted. 23rd March, Saturday, dinner 1200 calories. I click OK, and it will clear the inputs so that I will not accidentally resubmit the same meal twice. Once I'm done, I can click back and it'll take me back to the main menu. Okay, and then now it'll update, so showing the 16 meals, and now there's extra calories, which is now 14,100 calories. And I can also check weekly intake. So for example, I want to check last week's intake. So last week will be from the 16th to 22nd of March. So let's just pick Wednesday, for example. And I can click search. It will show me the weekly intake for the whole of last week, which is week 12 of 2026, 16 March to 22nd March. So Monday, 3 meals, Tuesday, 3 meals, up until Sunday. It'll tell me the total calories is 17,950. So since this is still below 18,000, 18,000, so it will tell you, good job, you are maintaining a healthy diet. And let me try searching for this week since I just added. Click search. Okay, it will show me Mondays, 3 meals, and yeah, yesterday's meal I only recorded 1, so it will show me that it's still lacking. So it says you're doing great, keep pushing, aim to increase your intake. So that is how it works. Same thing, if I click back, it'll take me back to the main menu, and then I can clear the file. So if I click clear file, it will ask me, are you sure? If I click no, nothing happens. If I click yes, are you sure? Yes, file has been cleared successfully. If I check my weekly intake and search for last week, no records found, as I just cleared it. Same for this week, no records found. Same thing here, the summary will show meals recorded this week 0, total calorie intakes also is 0. And lastly, there are actually 2 different ways the exit function works. I can click the X over here like normal, I can click exit. So if I click here, it will ask for confirmation. Same thing for this button, it will also ask for confirmation. If I click no, it will maintain here. If I click yes, it will close the program. So that is the basic function of this food calorie tracking application. Thank you, and I hope you guys are able to learn something.